Hello, boys and girls, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Ushanka Show, stories about life in the Soviet Union. Здравствуйте, дорогие товарищи! В эфире программа Ushanka Show. And the topic of today's video is Soviet birthdays. Recently I got the comment from one of my viewers, "Hello comrade, what were Soviet birthdays like?" And I realized that we never covered that subject, so today we're gonna talk about День рождения. In Soviet Russia, birthdays celebrate you. Okay, so let's start with the short language of Russian and Ukrainian language. So in Russian, birthday is День рождения. День рождения. So literally, the day of birth. День рождения. And in Ukrainian, it's День народження. День народження. So as you see, Ukrainian and Russian languages are pretty close. They both are Slavic languages, so somewhat like Portuguese and Spanish. Despite the fact that almost everything in the Soviet Union was according to the 5-year plan, Soviet people celebrated their birthdays annually, not every 5 years, except the people who were born on February 29th. The first thing I need to mention about Soviet birthdays, we didn't really have a good birthday song. The only song I remember was from the Soviet cartoon about Crocodile Gena and his friend, this weird-looking creature called Cheburashka. And the crocodile was singing a song which became like a birthday theme, so a cartoon song was the Soviet-era birthday song. Unfortunately, I cannot play this song on my video because it's probably copyrighted like many other Soviet-era songs, including Soviet Anthem, but I'll provide link below in the comment section, but I'll try to sing it a little bit because I still remember every single word. And I would like to apologize for my voice, I'm slightly under weather right now, but here we go. Пусть бегут неуклюже пешеходы по лужам, а вода по асфальту рекой. И неясно прохожим в этот день непогожий, почему я веселый такой. А я играю на гармошке, бла-бла-бла-бла, на виду. К сожалению, день рождения только раз в году. Та-ба-да-ба-да-ба-да-ба-да-ба-дам. So it's not like personalized song, it's just a crocodile is singing about crappy rainy weather, although I would believe crocodiles would prefer wet, rainy conditions. He's singing that no one understands why he's so happy and singing on the streets, but he's singing because it's his birthday, and unfortunately the birthday happens only once a year. So not surprisingly, in the late 80s when the Soviet people discovered American birthday tune from the movies and cartoons, that tune took over. We just put the Russian words on it. So singing «С днем рождения тебя, с днем рождения тебя, с днем рождения, Сережа, с днем рождения тебя». And I believe that song is still being used during the birthday celebration. Also, birthday cards were available for sale at your local postal office. Interestingly enough, most Soviet-era birthday cards were geared up for children. So they'll have pictures of kids or cute animals, and it's kind of hard to find any birthday cards for the adults. So here's the example of what I call the adult birthday card. As you see, there is really nothing exciting except a bouquet of flowers and a glass of champagne. And in the end of this video, I will add a slideshow so you can guys see the examples of Soviet-era birthday cards. Советские поздравительные открытки. Birthday industry did not exist in the Soviet Union, so you couldn't order a personalized birthday cake. In fact, you couldn't order any birthday cake, period. So you just buy a regular cake in the store if you can find one. Similar situation existed with candles. We didn't have a special tiny birthday candle, so you go for the full-size candle. Or maybe if you can get a hold of some church candles, those were smaller, almost the size of the small American birthday candle. And if you like decorations for a birthday party, you had to make it all by hand. We couldn't buy any banners, no numbers that you can make, the 18th birthday, 16th birthday, whatever. So everything had to be by hand if you were one of those people that like to have a lot of decoration. The majority of their birthdays, Soviet people celebrated in their apartment buildings, or if you live in a private home, in your home. And since most Soviet apartments were pretty tiny, so that was quite a crowded affair if you invite a lot of people. So you did invite a lot of people. Some people even had to celebrate in their kitchens. So if you look at the photos of Soviet birthday parties, you could see how crowded they are because you have a big table in the middle of the room and all the people around it, so it looks extremely crowded. I receive a lot of comments from my viewers who are surprised how many photos I have of my family and I, but you may notice I never showed a single photo from my birthday because I got none. But I managed to find this picture that was taken at my uncle's Misha birthday party, I believe. I guess it's 1980, so I was 9 years old, and my uncle turned 60, so it's a big deal, 60th birthday. This photo was taken at his apartment. He lived on the 5th floor of Hrushchevka apartment building. And if you're not familiar with Hrushchevka buildings, I'll post link once again in the comment section. So this is your typical Soviet birthday party. You have a table set up in the middle of the room. You got food and drinks. Of course, you have alcohol. If you look really close, you could see a clear bottle, tall bottle. So that's a vodka for my dad and Uncle Misha. We have a bottle of wine, and we got some lemonade. And I believe Aunt Anya is holding a bottle of lemonade. And we got snacks, salads, bread. Nothing fancy really, and I don't see a cake. And people at this party. So on the left, my mom Yelena, she was born in 1948, so she's 32 at this party, and her brother Misha right next to her. Then Aunt Anya, Misha's wife, she was actually originally from Russia, so she's the only Russian person in this party. Then my dad is next, kind of obscured by my cousin Tanya, and Tanya holding me in a choke. I don't know why. So I find it funny. And the picture was taken by my other cousin, Sasha. So Misha had two kids, a boy, Sasha, and a daughter, Tanya. So my cousins. And another small detail, usually for the big deal birthdays, like you turn 50, 60, so that's what we call it jubilei. I guess you can translate as anniversary. You also open a bottle of champagne. So the bottle of champagne was usually open only for the New Year celebration and like a big deal like birthdays, or maybe when a kid was born. Maybe we already emptied the bottle and you don't leave empty bottles on the table, so bottle is gone. Or maybe we even didn't have champagne that day. My family wasn't big on celebrating birthdays, that's why I don't have any photos. I remember only one birthday, and I believe it was probably September of 1986 when my father turned 50. And the reason why I remember that birthday, I was riding my bicycle while they had, so adults had birthday, and I guess they didn't bring any kids. So I was riding my bike, and it was a warm day, so I was wearing shorts and t-shirt, and I crashed really badly. I did a sharp turn on the gravel road, so I was bleeding all over my left side, my arm and my leg. My bike got jacked up, so I had to drag it for about a mile to get back to my apartment. I just remember I finally got into apartment, and there's a birthday going on, bunch of drunk people, and here I am coming in sobbing, all bloody. So this is how I remember that day. Some people who had a position and money like to celebrate their big number birthdays, jubilei, anniversaries in restaurants. That was quite expensive. My family never done that. And I was in the Soviet era restaurants only twice, if I recall correctly. And both times we were celebrating my relatives' weddings. I never went to a restaurant for anyone's birthday, but people did that. And of course, the biggest birthdays were birthdays of our great leaders. For example, this picture was taken in 1977 when Leonid Brezhnev, the General Secretary of Soviet Union, turned 70 years old. And another reason why I don't have any photos from my birthday parties is because my birthday is in July in summer, and I spent every summer back in the 70s and 80s out in the village in the northern Ukraine, and my grandparents had no interest of going extra mile and have some kind of birthday party. So besides a note in my diary, there was nothing going on that day. And that's a lot of Soviet children, because they spend their summers with grandparents in the village just like I did. They really didn't celebrate their birthdays. And my parents usually took their summer vacation in August, so they will miss my birthday too, but they'll send me a present. And some of you may remember my video. One time they sent me a parcel with bananas, and that was the best present I could get. It was just fantastic. I have the story about it, and I'll post the link below in the comment section if you missed me. And they may send me, once again, another time they'll send me a little toy. I don't remember birthday card, but there was a like military tank toy I played a lot. So besides those little presents, I had no parties and no celebrations. But I remember when I was in school and some kid from my class will have a birthday, there was kind of a tradition to bring candy to school to treat your classmates. And I found it really bizarre because you don't get any presents from anyone. It's just your teacher will announce, hey guys, and today, Ivan Ivanov's birthday and he brought us candy. And I was like, man, I'm so happy my birthday is in summer, so I don't have to do that. But I ate other kids' candy. And I went to a couple birthday parties in Kiev for my classmates, and usually there'll be a lot of adults, so there'll be relatives, and the kid will be allowed to invite a couple of friends. So it won't be like an American children's birthday party. We have all the kids and some parents. They were mostly relatives celebrating, and you have a kid will have a couple of friends. That's it. And it'll be once again alcohol for adults. And I remember maybe that was my dad's another birthday because that was on the birthday that I was allowed to try champagne for the very first time. And also had this ancient tradition that the birthday person will also be pulled by ears as many times as how old he just turned. So if you turn 10-year old, someone, maybe your drunk uncle or another friend of yours will grab you by ears. Usually adult will do it because they can try to pick you up by ears. And they count, 1, 2, 3, till you, to wherever your age is. And if the person is drunk who doing it, they might hurt you, but at least your ears will be red because some of them will pull you for real. And as the kids grew older and turned teenagers, sometimes they'll be allowed to have just friends' birthday parties. And those were a lot of fun because that's where you usually can meet a new girl. Actually, at one of those birthdays, I believe I was maybe 15 or 16. That's when I got my very first kiss. After, we're done eating and drinking, we started playing a bottle game. And that's how I got my first kiss from not the girl I wanted to, but still. And of course, we had podarki, birthday presents, and depending, of course, on how wealthy family was. As I mentioned, just a couple of kilograms of bananas would make me happy when I was a kid. And the most expensive present I got from my parents was the little Selga radio. It was on my 16th birthday, but they gave me later, of course, because my birthday was already in July and my parents arrived to a village then later in August. And I almost forgot to mention that when adults had a birthday, besides celebrating with your relatives at home, quite often there'll be a celebration at the place of work. So once again, people will set up a table, and I don't know, depending, I guess, what factory you have, maybe people will bring some even alcohol if the boss would allow, and they will celebrate birthday at place of work. Well, it's all I remember about Soviet birthdays. I hope you enjoyed this video. And once again, there'll be a slideshow of the Soviet era birthday cards right after this message. So please like the video, post your comment, share with your friends, and we'll talk to you soon. До побачення. Goodbye.